I thought I would provide you with a little help on a couple of these word problems that we did not set up in class. So this is, as you can see, number 15 on page 126. So the idea here is to come up with equations, a system of two equations that will model both your employer's pay rate, how does your employer pay, versus this other competitor and how they pay their employees. Okay, so let's just label your employer. We'll start there. All right, let's see, and we're using P to represent pay. So pay is going to be equal to, and then D stands for deliveries. Okay, well, your employer pays you a flat rate of $7 per hour. If you notice, our pay for your employer isn't determined by any number of deliveries at all. The variable D is not even used in this equation. Your pay is not determined by deliveries. It's based on a per hour rate. And you get paid $7 an hour, and you can assume a 4-hour shift. So basically, we're going to do 7 times 4, and for this 4-hour shift, your pay is going to be $28. So the equation is pretty simple. P equals 28. Comparing the 4-hour shift for the competitor, okay, so here's the competitor. They pay based on hourly rate, $2 per hour, plus they have a per delivery part component to pay. And remember, that's just another way of thinking of slope. This is a constant rate of change. 35 cents times the number of deliveries is one aspect of pay. And then the other, a fixed amount, $2 per hour. So $2 times this 4-hour shift makes $8. So the competitor pay is going to be determined in large part by a certain number of deliveries. That's going to change the pay at 35 cents per delivery. And then again, we're basing all of this on a 4-hour shift. So at $2 per hour, that $8 is a constant. And that would be like the y-intercept. Okay, so this is my system. It says write a system of equations, and there it is. And now we're asked to determine how many deliveries would the competitor's employees have to make in 4 hours to earn the same pay you earn in a 4-hour shift. So we're basically going to solve this system. And you can use any method you choose, but I think it's pretty obvious that substitution works really well, since we already have identified in our system that P is 28. Then I'm going to substitute 28 in for P in the other equation. So we're going to solve for D, deliveries. How many deliveries would these would it take to make these two pay structures be the same, the pay amounts equal? So 28 equals 0.35D plus 8, and we're solving for D, so I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. 20 equals 0.35D. Okay, and now you want to divide by 0.35 on both sides. And this is a case where I wouldn't do this to you on your test, but if you wanted to grab a calculator in this particular instance, that would be okay. And in dividing both sides by 0.35, if looking at your calculator and just rounding to the hundredths place, we have 57.14 equals D. Well, since we're talking about a number of deliveries, obviously we would not have a fraction of a delivery And so I'm going to look at it this way. Since it's a little bit more than 57, I guess in this case I would, if you rounded it to the nearest whole, that would be fine. We could say 57 deliveries, or you might be thinking, since it is just a little bit more, let's just go up to the next delivery number. And so either way, I wouldn't be very particular. I'm more interested in you coming up with the system and then understanding how we solve this for D, which stands for deliveries. All right, so that's your complete answer for this problem number 15. Now let's look at the one that's in the checkpoint quiz. This is on page 134, and it's problem number 5, just that one problem in the checkpoint quiz. And this one's a little different, maybe a little bit easier to set up. We have this N that offers 2 different packages, and we're going to write a linear equation to represent each package, and together those 2 equations will represent our system. So let's determine, first of all, just go to the end of this little paragraph and determine what it is that we are supposed to find out. We're supposed to find out how much a night costs, what is the cost per night and per meal. So since those are the 2 items that I'm supposed to determine, let's have a variable represent each one of those. And really, if you wanted to let N stand for a night cost, M stand for a meal cost, that would be fine. I'm just going to go back to the old traditional X stands for per night cost. How much is a night going to cost a person? Remember, the way it's packaged, we don't really know. It's 2 nights and 3 meals, so we want to break it up and say, okay, well then in this package, how much is just 1 night? And how much is 1 meal? Okay, so I'm going to let my variables represent these 2 items, X nights, Y meals. So let's take a look at the first equation, how it's going to be made. This is my first package that's mentioned. For 2 nights, 3 meals, that totals $158 total cost. Okay, so that's pretty easy to set up. 2 times the per night cost plus 3 times the per meal cost, that totals up to be $158. Okay, here's another package. 2 nights, so 2 times the per night cost, plus 5 meals, 5 times the per meal cost, that totals $181. So this is our system. So we can pick either method. I think you recognize that probably elimination works best because I have these matching X terms, and all it really takes is subtraction all the way across to eliminate X. All right. So if I subtract the bottom equation from the top, matching like terms, I get 0x, or just 0. 3 minus 5y is negative 2y. And then we're going to do 158 minus 181, and that's negative 23. And then if you divide both sides by negative 2, you get a y value of 11.5. Well, remember, we're talking about dollar amounts here. And in our equation, y stands for a per meal cost. So we're going to say cost per meal will be, in dollars, $11.50. And now it's easy enough to take our value for y, and we can replace either one of these, doesn't matter which. I'm just going to go with the top one. 2x plus 3 times our new y value, 11.5, equals 158. Okay, 2x plus And once again, it's okay if you wanted to grab a calculator and do this little calculation. That's 34.5 equals 158. All right, and so now we're going to subtract 34.5 from both sides. And that's 123.5. And divide both sides by 2. And we get x is 61.75. Again, that's dollars. And we've just figured out then our cost per night. Okay, so provide a little context. The cost per night will be $61.75. All right, so here's our final answer, and we were able to use a system of equations to come up with this. So make sure that you are actually showing a system, taking the information that you're given, show the system, and then show how it's solved by either substitution or elimination. You can choose, but I think you can see the elimination probably is the better option. All right, I hope this helps out. Definitely to make sure you're prepared for these types of problems on quizzes and tests, don't just watch this and write it down, but then you want to make sure that you can do it on your own and get it right. So definitely take down all the information, but don't just stop there. Try it on your own and make sure that you're able to get the right answer. Let me know if I can help you.